Fantastic. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, YouTube. So before I forget, first of all, we call the meeting to order at 10:35. Secondly, before I forget, when you are elected to the position, make sure that you come and see us right after, because there's a statement of affidavit that we have to have with our minutes, and we'd love your signature on it so we don't have the next 6 to 7 months to track you down. Okay, so I've called the meeting to order. The clerk has been appointed. Where is Terry? Terry has left. Like a finely tuned machine. I like with your socks. Hi, Terry. Thank you. Voting eligibility: if you are over 18, if you have participated in the community or consider St. Mark's and St. John's your spiritual home for the last 6 months. Giving is a great thing. I put that under time and talents, so consider yourself eligible to vote on this day. So any questions about your voting eligibility? Everybody here, I think. Yeah, that's good. Deacon Mike, you're we're on the edge there about, okay. This year we're doing things just slightly different, just in terms of the 2024, which was last year's annual meeting minutes. I've included them in your packet. So instead of an executive committee approving these ahead of time, I thought that these probably should be part of what we review as a larger group when we get together for the annual meeting, so we can recall what we did last year. So if you could just take a second to look at them, and then I'm going to need a motion and a second. Who moved? Okay, Ella and then Teresa for a second. Any friendly amendments that you would like to make with your recalling what happened a year ago? Okay. All those in favor of accepting last year's annual meeting minutes indicate by saying what? Yes. Yes. Well, these are 2020. It's so wacky with annual meetings, because even though the meeting that we're approving is 2025, it's actually for the year before. It's okay. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, well, thank you. Yes, it is 2026. You're too kind. Okay, would that change? Any other changes? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Anyone opposed or abstaining? Okay, fantastic. Thank you. The next order of business for today is the slate being presented. And Nancy, would you like to just name the candidates? And we're also accepting nominations today. If anybody wants to nominate themselves or put somebody else on the spot, you're welcome to do that as well. But as the chair of the nominating committee, yes, we're going to be really official today.
My term for warden is not up, so I will be warden again. And so Running for co-warden with me is Sharon. Thank you for running, Sharon. Running for vestry members are Terry Sensak and Deb Snyder. Thank you to both of them. And Ella and I are running again as delegates to Diocesan Convention, which we have done before. And do I have to talk about Bob?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
an appointment.
Let's talk a lot.
Okay, so Bob, hi Bob. Bob is being appointed as the vestry clerk. So.
And he has agreed to that, just so you know.
Okay.
Any nominations in addition to the ones that we have already? Any nominations? Okay, hearing none, what I suggest is that we appoint or vote by acclamation, and that way we don't have to use our ballots. Does that sound good? All those in favor of the slate as presented, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposing or abstaining? Sharon, you can't. You're gonna be warden. The ayes have it. We have a new, well, Sharon's been here, sort of new, vestry members, and certainly a new year, and we're gonna have an opportunity to do some visioning this year and potentially make some exciting changes, although it's kind of all in the flow of what we've been doing. So, I'm really excited about vestry this year. Like I said, after our meeting is over, please just come see us, and we can have you sign on the dotted line. We have two folks that are going off of vestry that we just want to say thank you to. So if Ella and Teresa could come forward. We have just a couple of tokens of appreciation and funness for you. And just want to say thank you for being with us over the last 3 years, and your time, energy, talents were really appreciated. And thanks for being part of the leadership team. And I know you'll continue to do so, but we just really wanted to mark this occasion and say thank you, so you can tell others that may have not served in vestry that it hopefully was not that painless or painful. Was not that painful. You got that, Terry? Okay. All right. So thank you. Thanks for helping us. Excellent. All right. So leadership reports today. Do you want to go first? You don't want to go first. Okay. Fantastic. I have. I could go over some things that are in the annual report. Please, please. Maria spent so much time on the annual report, and it takes a lot. I was commenting to Maria earlier this week that particularly the two tables that show our finances look so simple. You know, and it took a ton of work by Maria, and we worked a little bit together as a staff as well to make sure that those numbers were accurate. I do want to highlight, in terms of the financials last year, that we showed a surplus, and yes, that is fantastic, but it's also cheating a little bit, because to make that number, we actually took money out of our endowment, right? And so we had $45,000, I believe, budgeted, and we ended up taking out $52,500. So our deficit, it should have been more like a deficit of $3,000–4,000 probably, but overall that's exceptional. So kudos to the vestry and others for hitting the budget kind of out of the park last year. You can also see what the projected budget is for this coming year. We do have a sizable endowment, and I like to be super transparent about that. There shouldn't be any mysteries. I think the last time I checked, there was $980,000 in our endowment, which is amazing, right? Especially since we take that principal every year out for our budget. I just want you to know what we take out and what's recommended is 5% every year. And that has been key over the last several years, because what that's meant is our endowment has been able to at least stay the same or even go up a little bit. And then when it goes up, then we have that to spend every year. So in terms of sustaining the parish, that's a gift to future years. We're no longer, probably 10, 12 years ago, we were trying to figure out if we were going to be around, how we were going to get money. That's still a huge thing for us in terms of pledge income and those kind of things. But in terms of the sustainable piece, in terms of investments, we're okay right now. The other piece of that I will say is that when I came here, the endowment was like around $100 and something thousand. I'm not going to pat myself on the back right now because it's all Dr. Ruth Oakley. There's a little sign for her in the back. Several years in, Dr. Ruth, not the one you know, but Dr. Ruth left St. Mark's and St. John's around $800,000. And for parishes and people that have worked with parishes that haven't had the gift of an endowment, that is a huge blessing. And the other piece that I always look at with Dr. Ruth is she lived right here on Rosewood for many, many years. She lived in her family. Her parents lived there as well, once upon a time. She knew how hard this congregation was working, but also struggling. The years that she was here towards the end, Heather, you know this well, there was a very low worship attendance. Our congregation was getting older and older, and things were not looking like they were trending in the right direction. And I met with her towards the end of her life, well, several times, but in particular around the finances. She didn't tell me how much she was leaving the church or tell anyone, but she did say that she had a choice, and she had put her money on St. Mark's and St. John's. So every time I think about kind of looking at the budget and our finances and all those kind of things, I'm just eternally grateful for her optimistic spirit and for literally putting her money on us. And that's also something, that I've looked at with my will, and you're certainly invited to do that with your wills as well, is to write St. Mark's and St. John's in for some. You can do it a percentage, you can do a single amount. It doesn't have to be, earth-shattering, but it really, really does help us move into the future. So just, I don't harp on that piece at all, and we haven't had a conversation about that in a long time here, but I just want to make sure that you know that that's a possibility. If you're interested in talking to anybody about kind of financials, there's all sorts of financial instruments now that you can actually give a portion of an annuity to a nonprofit, to a church. We have a great financial person, Dan Hare. He is happy to meet with you and to give you some options, not just in terms of giving to St. Mark's and St. John's, but just giving across the board if you're interested in having that conversation and having your money work for some values that you have these days, which could be and probably is important to you all. Do you guys have any questions about the finances or the endowment or anything like that? I don't ever want a situation where, especially the folks that give to this church or are thinking about giving to this church, that they don't know exactly where their money's going. So we have, even though there's broad categories there, our vestry minutes, which one of these years, Jenny, I am going to make those available at the door. And they are available. They're public information. So if you're curious how much the priests are making or what's going into the building or any of those things, you don't just have to be on vestry for that. That is public information for you all. And let other folks know too about that. So, no finance. Yes, Terry. Yes.
The property is up about roughly 7,000. Is there a particular issue that will be addressed, or is that just accounting for inflation?
Well, what I'm recalling, and there's two big things. Church insurance has gone up dramatically over the last couple years and is continuing to go. That's certainly true for the congregations paying my health insurance as well. And I had to look it up 4 times because I couldn't believe how much health insurance is right now, which we're all dealing with, right? But that's not under that category, but is certainly under the personnel side. The other thing is heat, gas and electric. Our bill last month was for gas and electric well over $2,000. So that's, yes, Ella. Okay, I like that hopeful. Yes, that's awesome. So those were the 2 main categories, and I can get you the budget as specific. Yeah, it's noticeable. It's definitely, no, and the crazy thing is church insurance is going up, but what they're covering, okay. So, so for the rector's report, just, I was gonna just kind of reiterate some of the things that I wrote in the annual report. I did see this morning that our bishop had reposted a letter. I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, but I'm going to read this. And this is about our current political situation. So I just want to take the couple minutes that I have for my rector's report and read this to you all. Yes, fellow Americans. And this is not from Bishop Cara. It is, I don't have the person's name here, I should, but so she reposted this. Fellow Americans, things are impossibly hard in Minnesota right now. We are a state that feels under siege, and the people of this place are doing everything possible to resist. The campaign of reckless brutality being waged by the federal government has been well documented, including today's killing of a citizen who was restrained and immobilized. The clear evidence of what's happening exposes cartoonish lies from federal agencies that echo the most cynical propaganda machines in human history. The images are clear, and we are told, don't believe what you see. But there is also something much more powerful and not as widely reported happening. We are mobilizing for revolutionary love, vast networks of care, compassion, and solidarity organized by churches to deliver food and supplies to those who cannot leave their homes. People are documenting the violence being used against us in a way that puts their own lives at risk. People are standing guard outside schools and daycares and at bus stops to protect our children from real risks of harm. Others are taking turns watching each other's kids stuck in online learning because some schools aren't safe. Healthcare workers are bravely caring for people in hospitals that also are no longer safe, and risking being targets of arrest and detention for protecting the patients. A rich web of underground care and hidden love is taking deep root, and it's amazing to think what fruit that might bear when this occupation ends. Minnesotans cannot do more than we are doing. Here are a few ways you can help. Number one, please flood your U.S. senators with appeals to not further ICE funding by rejecting a bill the U.S. House has already passed. Please flood all your members of Congress with calls for de-escalation in Minnesota, for ICE, Customs, and Border Patrol, and other federal agents to leave Minnesota now, and to write and pass legislation that requires proper and extensive training for all those working for the federal government and our states and local communities. Number two, organize peaceful demonstrations in your cities and communities. We live in a very big country, and it's possible what's happening in Minnesota feels removed. What is happening to us here is happening to all of America, and it is eroding the last remaining threads of our democracy. Minneapolis and Minnesota have been a model for the entire country over these past 2 weeks, with tens of thousands standing together in deep cold to peacefully protest the violence being used against us. And finally, number three, you can help nurture the Diocese of Minnesota's primary engine of underground care and subversive love by donating to Casa Maria, which is providing much needed food, supplies, and community to those rightfully afraid to go about their daily lives amidst the violence. Some of Casa Maria's leaders are also working with a diocese team to help families locate and access members who have been taken by ICE. Donations do real and immediate work to help people in Minnesota that are in real need of help. The greatest danger we face right now is not the very real threat of our safety. It's not even the erosion of democracy. The greatest threat we face as a nation is the assault being waged on hope. We must not give in to despair. We must not be consumed by the very justified anger we feel. The only way hatred can be effectively resisted is doubling down on love. The only way darkness can be defeated is light. Thank you, Maria. The only way the forces of death can be overcome is by embracing every moment of every day God's unstoppable life. Thank you. Thank you. And I have additional copies of this, so you are welcome to. Okay. The Reverend Priest, Associate Priest, Maria.
Well, hi everyone. I was telling Cindy this week that while I was preparing the annual report, she shared looking at those tables of financials, they do look incredibly simple because we want them to be, user-friendly and accessible to look at and understand. But what goes into that is looking at kind of line by line, month by month, not only where we're putting our money for good, where we're investing our time and our energy, our people, our resources, and looking at that side by side with the impact at a glance that's in the annual report. With the amount of people, almost 6,000 individuals that we served at Food Shelf this year, the thousands of pounds plus harvested from the gardens by our garden captains, by our neighbors coming in and accessing that fresh produce themselves directly, that is no small thing, right? So I don't know what took me 3.5 years of being here to really have that click in a different way this year, but it did, and it was beautiful. And so Cindy encouraged me to share that because it's good for us to remember that when we're in the weeds, when we're unloading 3,000 pounds of food from the food link truck and we are exhausted and tired because we can't lift another can of peaches, Maria, why do you keep ordering them? It matters. It does something. What we are and who comes into our space and the way we go out, it's infectious. It really is. It's good. And so to see that kind of in black and white before us, it's a really big deal. So I hope you feel some of that too. I will not read my annual report either line by line, but I just want to reiterate my gratitude for all of you to be in this space, having gone through a very large transition this year, to know that you are a community that rolls with the punches, that rolls with grace and mercy and compassion first and foremost before anything else. That is a huge deal. And I hope you can feel that and receive that and just know how grateful I am, how grateful we are for you. And I'm just excited for what's to come, for what is possible with each and every one of us. And as transitions continue and new things unfold, I just hope we're all ready to keep looking for that light and keep our eyes open to see what's going to continue unfolding before us. So I'm just very happy to be here with all of you and so grateful for all of the work we've done together and will continue to do. So good job.
Thank you, Maria. Complete brief survey, small groups, and share with large group. So you will find in your packet a brief survey. And by brief, I mean 3 questions. And I encourage you to take a minute and if you don't have a pen or pencil, we can make sure we get you one. But to give some thought to this, you can tear it out of your packet. So you can give it to us. Make sure, hopefully you're comfortable adding your name. Also, your email address, which is a piece of what I want to just share with you as well, but I'm going to bracket that. So the 4th question, which I do want to give us time to just think about as individuals for the introverts in the group. The 4th question is, what does SMSJ do that no one else does? Hopefully it's something positive. What does SMSJ do that no one else does? So I want to give us 5-10 minutes. I can kind of look around and get a sense to spend time answering these. And then when that time's up, we're going to have 2 or 3, break up into 2 or 3 different groups so you can talk about things, not for super long, probably like 10-15 minutes if that. And then we'll just report out with each other so we can share what thoughts are on this. The Part of this is to give us feedback on how things are going, and part of it is about us thinking about envisioning for the future. So let me give you some quiet. Oh, the questions. Oh, here. Yep. Here you go. For those of you who may be watching us online, we will post the survey on our website this week, and we would love your feedback as well. So even if you are not finished, if you could get together in small groups, so there's going to be 3 groups. I think that's good. Now give everybody an opportunity to talk a little bit. There's chairs over on that side of the wall, so if that helps kind of create groups around the pews or however you want to handle that. And we will have small groups for 12 and a half minutes, maybe 13. Kids hate when I do that. Yeah, and so do you. That's excellent. I like that.
Two things. I'll have to move the camera, and two, we'll have to put microphones back on over there. So it's fine, but if people online want to
Okay.
see it, then I'll go move it.
Okay, we're going to join together as a larger group. And I have we've put some pews out here so they're facing the newsprint. And yes, come, my children, walk slow. You were a teacher, right, Sharon? Okay, I am hoping that folks that are still on YouTube with us can hear us if we use our microphones. So, when looking at the survey, I wanted to we don't need to go question by question. We can just kind of we'll spend some time kind of putting these things together. But I did just want to read through the options on number 3 and then go immediately into number 4. So number 3, which Mission Hub activities interest you for 2026? And these certainly are not, exhaustive. This isn't like the perfect list of things, but just some things for you to think about too, and how, and what you think about how I grouped these. I'm interested in that as well. But one is garden and kitchen, planting, harvesting, food shelf, cooking for neighbors. Another option was the living word, participating in small groups that focus on prayer and the Bible. 3 is justice and advocacy, organizing for local policy changes, including food access and participating in the Beechwood Neighborhood Coalition monthly meetings. Fourth was liturgical arts, bringing our community gardens into the sanctuary, creating seasonal displays featuring vegetables, fruit, herbs, curating special music that celebrates creation, and hosting outdoor garden prayer services. And the final one is neighborhood storytelling. We've talked about this for years, and we've never actually done it. So I wanted to just kind of put it here as kind of a benchmark to neighborhood storytelling, gathering diverse histories of our neighbors. So we would be trained to go out and have conversations with people, and then with their permission, just capture them, either by writing those stories down or by using audio recording to capture them. Some of you might be familiar with NPR that does StoryCorps. It's the same idea, but for our neighbors and our neighborhood. So that could be a cool initiative too. So I just wanted to just really quick, were there other things in terms of additional thoughts that you think should be part of this list, or things that I included under these subtitles that you think shouldn't be there or should be there? I can give you some time to think about that too. Yeah, Terry. Yeah. 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 Mhm. Right. Yeah, that's great. So, because I didn't give you a microphone, the folks on YouTube, let me just summarize, attempt. So, doing more things outside the building. For instance, what our farm stand was like. And Terry was just saying that there's all sorts of reasons why we may have, stopped it or whatever, but that kind of feeling of connectedness to the community was definitely a plus. Anything else when you look at these pieces? Yes, Heather. Here, you know what?
Occasionally, because we're small but mighty, if the weather seems good, we could just go outside and have the service. And if anybody happened by, all the better. Or I remember one year we didn't get a pavilion, but Steve ran up and downstairs and Joe cooked, and we had a picnic outside, and then some people just came by, and there's always enough, So.
Yeah, Kevin Henshin and Joe, Bob Caruso. Joe might have been involved in that too. Yeah. 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 Yeah, and that was just like a neighborhood picnic. We called it. Yeah. So let's move to, because I think some of this good energy could help us out with this. What does SMSJ do that no one else does? What is unique about our community? Yes, Deb.
I think this sanctuary setup is the physical space just sets up that message of inclusivity.
Okay.
And my nephew that comes and joins us sometimes,
Yeah.
he's just like,
Likes it? Okay. So the sanctuary space being in a circle and being inclusive kind of sets that tone. Did any other groups talk about that at all, or? Okay. 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 So the service and the liturgy doesn't feel like a performance. Okay. Sermons are good. Oh, yeah, she was telling me too, yeah. She told me too, yeah, that's great. Mm, yeah. So the relevance of the, yeah. Other things about, yes? Right. Yeah. Right. Always. Always. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point about no matter who's presiding here. I remember when the Michael Curry came, and I was sweating it, and I didn't know if I was going to do that all-inclusive welcome or not, because that's not the position of the church. And although in a lot of congregations, I think so. And I was just like, he's on his way out. No. And then I thought, Gary, and then I thought maybe I will be too. But there is I think, a deep commitment that we all have to that and what that means. Yeah. No, he was riding the wave, and he was great. No, he was really great. Mike, were you going to say something? Or yeah, no, okay.
Our team pointed out the success we've had in building community.
Mm-hmm.
We have so many garden partners and
Oh, yeah.
Webster schools that come and volunteer and college kids. They're not members, but
Right.
they recognize us, and we've built that community, that connection.
Right. You can really see it in the annual report. The pictures are just like that. The last page of the I don't know what I was going to do. Yeah, the picture of all the Webster kids out on the front. Yeah. And we have an email that you sent me an email about the fraternity. The RIT fraternity is coming in February? I don't know, Dave. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They can help me start the snowblower. Any? Mm. Yeah. awesome. That's great to hear, Bonnie. Anything else about what makes us unique?
I had the opportunity to go to quite a few Episcopal churches. And, nice. People were nice to me, for sure, but just from everyone here seems to make a heartfelt effort to support the missions and to be what we preach. Walk it out. Walk it out. And
Yeah.
the efforts are all different. For Rectors and wives and it's beautiful. That heartfelt effort to
Yeah.
genuine people support
Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
that's a beautiful thing.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. I feel like we're a pretty healthy community. That if I don't want to be too positive about this and then have everything explode. But no, I was trying to think about the last time that we had like major conflict. I was talking to another priest earlier this week, and there was not Maria, and they were expressing about how they couldn't even felt like they couldn't get to like a neutral place, let alone a place of growth, because they were dealing with conflict like all the time, and it's I think we've gotten in the habit that if something does kind of bubble up, that we go to the person and talk to them, and instead of getting our coalition together and then going and addressing things. And wouldn't the world be a better place if that's how we all were, like, yeah. Anything else that kind of comes to mind in terms of unique attributes? All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for giving it time and attention. Yes, Bonnie. Really? Interesting. That's hell, Bonnie. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, the choir, right? That's something, isn't it? I was joking around with the choir as I passed by them, and it was almost 9:30, which you've got to give people 10, 15 minutes here to kind of wander in. But I said, maybe the choir's going to be larger than the congregation today. But it's just kind of, and there's some Sundays where people just kind of pop up and come and participate, and yeah, yeah. There you go. Perfect. Well, again, thank you for spending worship time and then this time. Yes. 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 Yeah. He's got it. He's got it marked already. He's got it marked already. Yes. Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, Gary?
I just have a little announcement.
Yes.
Because it's funny because I want people to know I pay attention. But Devin Walt finished the Genesee River Swim Challenge at the Maplewood Y. 7 miles they swam in 7 hours.
You did?
Yeah, they finished.
Wow. That's good. That's 7 miles. That's good. That's good, but it's out in the open. It's all good. It's all good. Anything else for the good of the order? So we have affidavits. If you are elected, please come see. If you are on vestry or a warden, come see us. Maria created an actual schedule of meetings for the next X number. I know, Teresa, you leave. Yeah. So please come get that as well. Anything else for the good of the order? The wisdom, love, grace of God strengthen each one of you to be God's hands and heart in this world of ours. And the blessing of God Almighty, our Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer, be with you on this snowy day and remain with you always. Amen. Go in peace. You could take, oh yes, the surveys. Please, just put them on this pew. Thank you.